Don't, but don't.
Nothing. Boys wrong.
How close are you to the mark? Your
About a fist.
a fist away.
Yeah, if you can hear yourself. If you sound like
If it's too slow or something.
yeah, bring it right up if you want like that. But that sounds better.
Is this?
It also depends how loud you're going to talk.
Oh yeah. I don't
Like
want
if
to
you-
cap your. Does it have a big cap on it that you can like it?
If you look at these,
Yeah.
if it's hitting the red, then you're right.
Oh, that's right. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm not even hitting. Oh, okay.
There you
I'm
are.
hitting it a little bit.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
Nice.
And the audio, I can fix the audio later anyway.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks
Yeah,
for having me here.
So let's start from the beginning. Norway. So you've been in Australia for a year?
I have. Yeah. Since I think I got here 19th of March,
Last 2023.
2023. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was such I got here. I had no money. I didn't have anything. I didn't have I didn't have anywhere to live. I only had one day paid for in a hostel in Service Paradise.
Oh really?
Yeah. And I got there and I didn't even have my reservation. And they were fully booked out. So I just had my flight for like 30 hours and they said like, no, we don't have any spots. And they could see my face turn like, oh, no.
So you had a booking and they didn't have you on the.
They couldn't find it. No.
Yeah, right.
But because they saw me and they just like saw something was happening, they tried to fix something. So I don't know how they did it, but they got an extra bed. I could sleep there straight away. And the next morning they said like, yeah, we don't have anything else. And then so I started looking for different things, but then there were a few cancellations, so I could book for an extra like week or so because they had this thing that you could get like when you pay in cash there, you can get a 350 for a week rate, but you couldn't do it from overseas. So I thought, let's just do one day, and then when I get there, I can figure that out. But because everything was full at the beginning, I couldn't get it.
So did you stay there or no?
At the end, yeah, I did.
Yes.
I was already ready to go somewhere else, but then they came back like, we figured something out for you.
Yeah.
Then I got 10 days there, and in those 10 days, I needed to figure out everything. Need to get some type of money, need to get another place to stay. So I just made lists of like 50, 100 companies in the area and just started like sending emails, calling them.
To like hostel companies?
Hostels, restaurants, everything.
Really?
Yeah. All the hotels in the area, everything I thought of.
And what was your plan coming here? Like, did you have a goal you wanted to achieve when you came here, or?
Yeah. I came from Japan, but I was there for 3 months studying their language.
Oh yeah.
And that was epic. Just being on my own.
Whereabouts in Japan?
Okinawa.
Yeah.
But being by yourself for such a like period of time made me realize how nice it is to focus on your own ability to like. I needed to learn how to study there. I didn't know how to do that. I didn't know how to like get better at focusing. I needed to like work myself.
Yep.
And I started reading so many self-help books. I got this book called Get Smart from Brian Tracy.
Mm-hmm.
And that book was like talked about how you can become someone just because everyone has done certain things to get where they are, right?
Yeah.
Like let's say Jordan, he threw so many balls to become as good as he is now.
Yeah.
So if you would throw so many balls, it's almost normal to become at a certain level.
Yeah.
So that when I had that realization, like, oh, if I do the same actions as people that have done the things that I want to do, I can get there as well.
Yeah, it's just consistency, discipline.
Exactly.
All the things that you always get told in every self-help book ever.
Yeah, but then take action. And that was, yeah.
But until you start actually doing, like, everybody knows that. Like, you can say that to anyone and everyone knows consistency and discipline and all those attributes help towards bettering yourself and achieving what you want to achieve. But until you start doing it, you don't understand it.
Exactly. And I think that's what I like about all the different self-help books that are out there, because the same information just said in a different way clicks different in other people's brain.
Yeah.
And for me, it needed to be like said in that way for me to click it. And I was like, oh, I can just do the things that other people have done to get where I want to go.
Yeah.
Because they have done it as well. It's not impossible or anything.
It's like crazy realization.
Right? It's just a roadmap. It just makes sense. Like turn on navigation and it says like take a left here, do the hard thing there, and then get out of your comfort zone there.
Yeah.
And
how old were you at this point?
This was 22. I was 22.
You're 22. Yeah. So pretty good timing. You're pretty early, really. A lot of people don't figure that out until later in life.
Very fair. I wouldn't say lucky, but my mother has played a big part in that because she's been like sort of a life coach her whole life. So how you have like nowadays all those sort of life coaches everywhere. Yeah. She has been sort of mentally like helping me with lots of things. And I think now, like when you're a kid, you always think like, what's your mother saying? Like, why is she?
Yeah.
But yeah, that helped a lot. Like everything makes so much more sense.
That's cool. So she's a life coach.
Yeah. So yeah, she does like life coaching and also with feet pressures, so it's like massages and stuff. Yeah. But yeah, our main thing is life coaching.
Wow.
Yeah. So but yeah, to come back to your question, there in Japan, I realized that I really wanted to be by myself longer, and that's why I sort of got to Australia. Yeah. Also because it was the easiest.
So from Japan, you originally were going to go home.
Yes. Yeah.
To the Netherlands.
It was just a temporary thing to stay there for 3 months. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. And then you've been in Australia for a year.
A bit longer than a year now. Yeah. It's been.
Wow. That's cool. So where did you end up after the hostel?
Straight into Burley, actually. Like 5
Where you are now?
I moved recently to my girlfriend's place, but since I got to Australia, just one place close to a gym, because the main thing, like usually people that come to Australia, they want to travel, get everything. But I like having one habit, like a routine. Get a community around you, and just
build a sort of lifestyle instead of traveling around.
Exactly. For the goals I had, I needed to have like 1 point structure, wake up same time, get a normal routine going.
Yeah, I love it.
And then I met like the cool community at Rhythm, like you guys. And that's the
so
sweet spot.
I remember when you started at Rhythm, but when was it?
I think the second day I moved in to my place in Burley. Yeah. That's the first gym I went to was Rhythm, and I think that was maybe 4th April or something like that, or something like that.
2023.
Yeah. So I've been doing jiu-jitsu for a year now.
Yeah, awesome.
Like,
and look what it's 90% submission rate, mate.
Actually, it's
I don't know. That was a guess.
What is it? I think it's from all the matches I've had, I've only been submitted once. Or no, I lost one match, and that was by points. Yeah, so I've never been submitted in the competition.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I've had 20 wins so far.
20 wins, wow. Yeah, I only had, I think, 11 fights in my whole white belt career. And that's good, mate. You love it, eh?
Oh, I'm frothing it. Like, let's use some Australian word,
terminology.
I'm frothing it.
Yeah.
It's like that, what's it, when you're like younger and you like to roll around with your friends and stuff? Yeah. I think that's the part I was missing. Yeah. When I was like, oh, I need something. And that's when I thought, yeah, of course, Joe Rogan helps a bit pushing.
Bit of body on body, human connection.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's so good. Yeah.
Do you reckon it changed the way you think about other aspects of your life?
Oh, I think jiu-jitsu is such a great thing. Like, for me, every time I went there, like having a art to focus on, your attention, you learn so much different things. Like with jiu-jitsu, as you know, you have so many aspects of it. Like you can learn, you need to keep on learning to get better. And having that mind belt mentality and like everything is just, you can see correlation to how much time you put into jiu-jitsu to how good you get. And last year when I started training like between 10 and 13 times a week, I just saw the amount of growth I was gaining.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And now when I look at the things that I do, like let's say editing or something, Like first I was like, oh, I'm not getting any good. But when I looked at how much time I put in it, I was like, oh, that's logical. I haven't even put 30, 40 hours in.
Yeah.
But when you start like putting more hours in, like really putting the hours in, then you see the how much sort of you get better at.
Yeah, I guess it's like everything in life. Like but jiu-jitsu probably teaches you more than everything in life how to learn or how to progress at something. It's the teaching in that aspect of how to learn and how to get is so evident in jiu-jitsu because you can see it. You can see where you progress, and then the belts, I guess, are a symbol of that. But I mean, our gym doesn't really care about belts, so it's like, yeah, it's like when you do better against an opponent that you was submitting you 3 weeks ago, you know, you can see it, and you're okay, that's because I was training so much and put in all that time. That's probably why I'm getting a bit better.
You have that direct correlation, and I think I think one of the best things that I learned from it as well is asking questions.
Yeah.
Because every time I roll, it doesn't matter if I was good or if I wasn't good, I just ask the question like, do you have any tips for me? Or like, how can I get better? Or what can I do different? And then the small pieces of information that I've gotten over the last years, just those parts have been, I think, the biggest help. Because then you get someone else's perception on what you just sort of did, your performance.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, oh, I should change this, or he does this. And then those small alterations.
Yeah. And you very much got to be like self-learning as well. Like, because you can ask, everyone's willing to give you their take on a certain position or thing that you ask them. But then you need to put it towards what will work for you. So it's a lot of people, the way they do things, or I don't know, the way they go down a certain path into a move or a submission isn't probably the best way for you, but you still need to ask a question to see how they do it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like just to be like, okay, that's another way to do it if need be, but like their body type might not be the same as yours, you know, whatever. So it's like,
yeah, it's that see if it works for you.
Yeah.
And I think that asking questions, that just works with everything. When I started doing it, just like with things about like you meet someone that edits as well, and you ask like, oh, what is your workflow? Or you see someone with a camera, how do you make pictures? How do you do this?
Yeah, they could give you one little snippet where you're like, oh, I could use that.
Exactly. Yeah, just see like, oh, can I use it? Yeah, no, and then, or maybe not yet. Like footlocks, no, not yet.
Yeah. I found that as a massive thing. Like, I've always been pretty disciplined and like always known how to learn and progress things, but jiu-jitsu made it tenfold because you rock up there, and then if you don't get better, you're just gonna keep getting squashed the whole time. So you got to get better. Otherwise, you stop rocking up.
Yeah, exactly. And what did you feel like the self-analysis is a big thing as well, because you have to figure out why you're not learning.
You got to be very truthful. Like if you're kidding, if you're telling yourself lies or the wrong thing, then you're never going to progress unless you're being true to yourself and telling yourself what you actually like your exact I don't know the word, like skill level.
Yeah.
Unless you're being very honest with that, then you're not going to be able to progress from there. You can't go in thinking that you're better than you are, because you're going to get humbled very quick by, you know, the 14-year-old blue belt.
That's so
important.
Exactly. Yeah. Do you know Mark Aurelius?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he did this thing. He hired a guy that would follow him around every time he get praise from people. That guy would whisper in his ear, "Just a man. You're just a man." And when I did the competition, and I felt so like great, I just reminded myself every time after every match, like, you're just a man, so that I didn't get overconfident, because you still have to have your game face on every new opponent.
Yeah, the matches I've ever done, or the competitions, I've never felt like that until after the final, because you know, you do one match and you're cooked from that match, and you're like, damn, I've got like 4 more if I'm going to win this thing. I've never felt confident until after the final.
Yeah, me neither. That was only the last one I did, because I had a submission that was, after 30 seconds or something.
Yeah, let's talk about that real quick.
Oh,
What
yeah.
did you do after your 7 submissions?
Oh, I felt so good. It was just the gi. I had so much grip, and like I think the last submission I had was like close to 20 seconds. And so I had to really remind myself, like, okay, we're going into no gi now. Just cool down a little bit. Like, you're not that great. You're just you're just a man.
But before no gi, you went and asked for a sponsorship anyway.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, after 7 submissions in a row, I went to the stall that sold like rash guards, and I walked out because we had talked before I left. I said, hey, I just had 7 submissions in a row. Do you want to sponsor me?
What'd they say?
And they say, send us your information on Instagram and we can figure something out.
Have you sent that to them?
They said they only had like 2 black belts.
Oh, right.
They said like, oh, we can fix a white belt with it.
Yeah.
We should make that happen.
Yeah.
So I look forward to seeing what comes out of that.
Yeah.
See who we can make.
That's so good.
It'll be funny.
I love it.
But I feel like that's the thing as well. It's just asking questions, like asking like that question, like, hey, do you want to sponsor me? If you don't ask something like that, you will never get the opportunity to do so.
Yeah.
And I feel that's with everything, like in business, it's like the opportunities you create yourself. And I found that jiu-jitsu gave me a lot of confidence in certain ways. So like doing something like that 4 years ago or whatever, I would never just walk up to someone and like ask a outrageous question, even though it's
it definitely gives you a lot more confidence. Like humble confidence. Like you're definitely humble because you know that you can walk into any gym and you're still a white belt. You're not going to be the best at the gym, but outside the gym, it's society. You know, you kind of know where you stand. If shit hits the fan, you kind of can handle yourself. And although most jiu-jitsu practitioners don't want to get in those sort of situations, knowing that you can handle yourself in that situation gives you a massive amount of confidence.
Oh, so
like
good.
Confidence, like to ask questions like that, or just to walk forward with your,
with the chest up.
Yeah, with chest up, good posture, and
and not
present yourself confidently to people.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
Even when you're not the biggest in the room, or you like feel intimidated by other people, you don't really have that anymore.
No, it definitely diminishes that feeling of intimidation. You right?
Yeah, I'm just moving it a bit. Like I want to sit a bit more straighter up.
There you go.
Which one is it?
Push that in.
This one.
Yeah, like just.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, you're too tall, mate.
That's good. But yeah, exactly. Because I did that was after a few months of doing jiu-jitsu. I went to this brotherhood gym, and they have this men's circle where you wrestle with guys. And I chose the biggest guy there, but he didn't have that much wrestle experience.
Yeah.
But he was.
But you didn't know that.
He was just no, I didn't know that. I just saw him as the biggest guy. So he had like massive arms, and I triangled him after like a few seconds. And it's such a good feeling that like even like if someone doesn't know anything, or like you have that edge.
Yeah.
And that gave me so much confidence.
Have you ever got a submission in competition that's not a triangle?
Actually, I did. Yeah. Or I have to triangle and do an armbar, but usually the other one that was just a rear naked choke.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. From the Delhi Heaver.
The simple things work, eh?
The simple things work. Yeah. But what about you? What is usually your go-to for the comps?
Yeah, simple things. I've always only got, I think the submissions I've always got is like triangle, armbar, or rear naked choke. I don't think I've got. Yeah, no, I think I got one Kimura from a triangle once, but yeah. Oh, I got a footlock. And it was the only reason I got a footlock is because it was the only submission I was going for. Because I was like, I need to get a footlock.
Isn't it funny that I think you have so much more advantage when you focus on one thing instead of having that whole arsenal of I know I can do a back take, armbar, all of these different moves, but you just say, no, I'm just going to do this, and that's the sequence I'm going to try.
Yeah, I think it's very beneficial to know the spot that you have the most advantage from, and not accepting anything apart from getting to that spot. if you can focus on that, then I think that's a good base to build off. Because anything that happens after that spot, you kind of know how to deal with it, you know. But if you can get to that spot and be comfortable there, then you know that whatever happens, you're good. But it's kind of not accepting anything less than that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter how they trying to like pass you or whatever. I felt when I can get them in my closed guard, that's where they're fucked. You're gonna get tried.
Oh, fucking love it.
You're going to get
So
tried.
good.
And it feels so good as well because they know, and you hear their coach. You're like, oh no, it's coming.
Oh, I forgot it. So, when are you going back to the Netherlands? Next month, hey?
It's but yeah, it's probably going to be the 18th of May.
And what are your plans moving forward? What are you going to do? Jiu-jitsu back over at home?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu is a part of life now.
Okay.
It's here.
Yeah, it normally takes a couple of years for that to happen, but that's good.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
Like, just
long term, that's it.
Long term. Like, I think that's why I started training like a little bit, not the 10 times a week anymore. Just I felt like I've gained a nice little place to like work from.
Yeah.
And now I can just do it as a like sport that I really enjoy.
Yeah,
and want to exactly I want to do for long term because my body just started hurting in all the different places where you train twice a day.
Yeah, welcome to jiu-jitsu. Yeah. No, I definitely agree. Like once you start looking at it more long term and you pull it back to like 3 or 4 a week, you can sustain that.
And I also saw that if I just walk up to a class that I don't have, like, I cannot say, like, I want to learn this now. They just present you what you're going to do that day, right? And if you have that the whole week, then you're not fully building on the things that you want to learn. So I felt there are different ways of, like, learning better with the amount of time I have. So now my friend, I help him. So I teach him, like, 30 minutes to an hour a day, every day. And just teaching someone the simple things makes me help and understand the things way better. Like even just the simple, just side control and getting that pressure right and where do you have to like control them so that they cannot escape. That has helped me so much in my own game to just explain it to someone else.
Yeah, to be able to truly understand something, you need to be able to teach it.
Right?
Yeah. That's your backyard grappler, mate. That's what it is. That's what the boys, that's how we started. Like when we started truly progressing a lot, we started just training with each other in the backyard because then we could actually spend the time to figure a position out or figure out what we're doing wrong, get tapped in a position 5,000 times and then go, why am I getting tapped so much? And then break it down and figure it out.
And was it Jaden that started teaching first, you guys?
Yeah, for sure. He was doing jiu-jitsu for like 2 years before he was nearly a blue belt. He got his blue belt pretty shortly after we started. And yeah, he was just teaching us everything. And then Cougar and I would also do sessions, just us two, trying to figure everything out that he just taught us. And yeah, we noticed a massive, massive difference once we started doing our own sessions outside of the gym. And like our progression really skyrocketed then. And that's why we'll probably endeavor to keep that going for the rest of our lives, basically, you know, because that's how you stay in the game. That's how you progress. And it's not as hard because sometimes we, scrap to the death. There was a lot of that when we were white belts. That's why progression was so quick because we go on a war in the backyard. But we're not really doing that as much anymore. It's just like we're mainly meeting up to give our bodies a break from training in the gym, and just go over some technique. And yeah, it's pretty vital for long-term progression if you're going to have the long-term outlook on jiu-jitsu and life and all that shit.
Yeah, you want to have your knees working in 10 years still and then being able to do the right move.
Also, the discipline thing's massive because in order for that to happen, you have to be able to be disciplined enough to go and do gym outside of that and go and maintain your body properly and stay fit and healthy and pliable. So when you come to jiu-jitsu, you're not a step behind everyone,
Yeah, and you're not like all tight from like all the sessions you did before because you have done your stretches when you're alone.
Yeah.
Done everything that's necessary to keep your body strong so that you can perform when you do
Yeah, to achieve proper longevity, that's what's got to happen. What has to happen. Yeah,
I really like that, and I think those because when you play with when you like roll with your friends, you do it in a playful way.
Yes.
And I think that's why kids learn so quick.
Yes.
They do everything in a playful way. They're just in the present. They do they play.
Yeah.
And we out of nowhere when we get older, we think we have to do everything so seriously. And I think when we just go back to the kids thing, just play around.
Yeah.
Then it's like
well, that's like the Russian wrestlers. That's I think it's like something like 90% of their training is playing. Like they keep it very, and they're psychos. They in the UFC they're beating everyone. You know, in wrestling, Russia's always the best, but most of their training is playfulness. Like they're wrestling, but they're playing for hours, like all day, so they can sustain it and they can do it over and over and over and over again, the same movements and the same patterns, and they can instill that in their body and mind over and over and over again, and that's how their training is, and I think that's why they progress and they are the way they are. Yeah. You know, like it's counterintuitive to flog yourself every day and go to war because you won't be able to rock up the next day because you'll be cooked, you know.
Yeah.
And to get constant progression, you need to be able to constantly train. You know?
Yeah, that's what jiu-jitsu showed me is you have to analyze yourself and what is working for the long term and ask that question and then like adapt from there. Like,
yeah.
If you what you just said, like if you go like to war every day, that's not sustainable for like
every day. Is fun, but
it is fun. It's so fun. It's great to like your body feels like horrible and you still show up.
Yeah.
And you still like when you're warm, it's like fuck it.
Yeah. Well, when you're warm, everything feels good.
It feels good, yeah.
And you're ready to go, and then you cool down and you think you're gonna die. You're like, oh.
My elbows.
Yeah, it's good.
But
that's why I like the environment that we're in now, because there's a lot less ego than environments I've been used to in my whole life. Like everyone is willing to be playful and learn and give out their take on a technique and not hide anything or hold anything back from anyone. It's very playful. It's very much a learning environment. It's cool. It's cool to see.
I love it too. I think the open conversation you can have before a roll, like, oh, what do you want to do? Do you want to do 30, 120% just all ham, or just do a nice little flow roll?
Yeah.
It's like it's all there.
Yeah.
And you can just let's do only standing, or I want to move like do these certain moves or something like that. And everyone is super open to just like do that.
Yeah. And willing to put themselves in a uncomfortable situation. Like if they're not good at standing up, they will stand up and play standing up, and that's how you get better. You know, exactly. People are a lot more willing to do that, which is good because they know that the other person they're training with is also switched on with not overpowering them if they're better in a certain aspect. You know.
Yeah, I feel a lot of trust in our gym.
Yeah,
especially if someone has me in an armbar, I know they're not gonna full hip into it. But they're like, even if I know when Josh or something gets me in an armbar, he's probably gonna let me try to escape as well, so I can until I feel the pressure come on. But it's always gonna be slow and steady. It's not gonna be like I have it now.
Yeah,
try to send it.
Yeah. Apart from jiu-jitsu, what else are you doing in Australia? Is there any other hobbies you've been pursuing?
So when I got to Australia, I really wrote down all the goals that I really wanted to achieve. And the main goal that I wanted to achieve last year was I want to run my first marathon. I wanted to get into public speaking, and I wanted to focus on YouTube and jiu-jitsu there as well. And jiu-jitsu, I had the goal I wanted to be able to submit 8 out of 10 blue belts. That was my goal.
That's a good goal.
I know, yeah.
That's a really good goal.
I think that's better.
That might be my goal.
Than saying like I want to have a blue belt. I think it's way cooler to be a white belt and submit blue belt.
Yeah, of course.
Right.
That's definitely the way to look at it. Yeah.
And so that made that made the perspective very well. But the main thing what I wanted to do was the marathon, because I wanted to do a marathon. David Goggins made me do it. So I just
doesn't he with us all?
Right. I had to do something hard, right? And when I got to Japan, I did a half marathon like without training. I was fucked afterwards.
I fucking bet you were.
I was like, I understand why people train for marathons.
Yeah.
So I got to Australia and I started training because I had to like 3 days a week and just slowly prep it up. And then I did my first marathon in, I think, July it was. And then I got hooked. I met this guy, and 2 weeks later, we did a 50K to qualify for a 100K. Then together, like a month later, we did 107K. And then in that year, we did another 3 or 4 marathons. And
Wow.
So, like, I just got stoked on running.
And are you still running?
Training itself, not that much, but I do like it. I like it a lot, but it's more an off and on thing because there are enough other things that I want to put my attention to.
And I do a lot of running also. I found the more you run, the more your body sucks when you're going to do jiu-jitsu because it's tightening up all the things you need that
the flexibility for.
Yeah, like your hips. Like it hooks your hips, and your hips are a massive part of jiu-jitsu.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm on the same boat. I love running, and it makes me really fit, and you feel really good when you fit running and you go and do jiu-jitsu. You feel it in everyone. You feel really good about yourself, but your body is tight and sore.
Yeah.
It's something you need to get used to. Like when me and Cougar were training for 100K, I think we did it 2 years ago, maybe. Yeah, I can't remember. But we've done a couple of ultras, and every time we've been training for them, we haven't pulled back on jiu-jitsu, and it's taken about 3 or 4 weeks for your body to adapt, and those 3 or 4 weeks are the hardest because you just feel so cooked the whole time. Yeah.
But did you find as well that if you do a lot of jiu-jitsu and you do it like without really taking breaks, you just roll? I find jiu-jitsu is very good for my cardio system. So even if I haven't run for a while and I just do jiu-jitsu like a shit ton, I can still perform long distance running.
Yeah. Yeah, I do agree. I also, when we were training for like distance running, the running stuff we're doing was just to get the Ks. We weren't running hard. We're just running to get the kilometers and the time on the legs. And then the harder training was jiu-jitsu. And honestly, before we did the 100K, I broke my hand doing jiu-jitsu. It was just a freak one. I just fell over it and it broke. But then I rocked up to the doctor's surgery, got the x-ray at the hospital, and the doctor was like, there's no way you can run 100K. I'm like, it's my hand. And that was playing in my head the whole time I was running it. I was like, fuck him. Of course I can run 100K.
Yeah, you don't need your hand.
Broken hand. Yeah. Anyway, I forget where I was going with that story. That's what I was saying. It's before I broke my hand, when I was doing both, that was the fittest I've ever felt. Ever. All round fitness, like for everything. That was the fittest I've ever felt in life because I was doing heaps of gym, I was running heaps, and I was pretty much able to scrap most days because I was so fit. And my body being sore was just, I didn't really care about it. It was just a byproduct.
The new reality, right?
If you can get yourself to that point, that was easily the fittest I've ever felt.
It's funny, how your body sort of changes, and then the new reality, the new normal, is just always feeling a certain way. And then, it was so funny. I got sick for a week, and then there was this weird feeling in the body. Do you know what it was? I didn't have any pain.
Yeah, well, I've been experiencing that a lot lately because I've been rolling jiu-jitsu and I've been doing lots of gym and doing things to help my body heal, and my body feels the best it's felt for a long time and has done for like months now.
Yeah,
it's weird.
It's so weird. Like it's so normal to have like your bones here like painful, or like any joint like a little bit, or just have that tension in the body.
Yeah,
it's so funny.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Jiu-jitsu have showed me a lot of like this, like those little pains. You adapt. Our body is so good at adapting to anything. We just have to like put it through the things necessary, and then.
Yeah, a lot of people, like the hardest part is starting and that first initial process of like adapting and learning, and probably takes, it's different for every aspect, but for what I was doing with the running and that, it probably took 4 to 5 weeks. But then after that, your body just adapts and you're used to it, and you're in a rhythm then, and you just like, if you don't train at 4 a.m. in the morning, go for a 20K run. You feel weird for the rest of the day. It's the wildest thing. Yeah,
it's funny because you said that period of the 5 weeks. That's exactly what I had as well. Like you don't start at like working out every day and doing twice a day workouts. You start at only doing like 3 times a week, 4 times a week, and then every time you just add a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere, you're like every day, 2 times a day. You're like, what happened?
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny.
So good.
So you haven't been running?
Yeah, I ran a little bit because my friend asked me to do a 100K with him. It would have been in 2 weeks. So I started running
2 weeks from now.
2 weeks or like the 27th of April. But I am going home. I'm going to Italy. I need to have money for that, and just there were a few reasons why it was probably smarter to not do it, especially because I also had competition recently. So if I would have trained more and just there was a
So you'd have to pay all your fees and that to go and do the 100.
exactly, and to get there to have to like to stay there. There's a lot of like just running 100K at home is probably smarter because there's so much cost to doing like the ultra marathon.
I've never paid for one. The ones we've ever done has been we just picked a date and did it.
Oh really?
Yeah, I've never done a race.
Oh, that's so much better.
Yeah, it's way better. Like a race, I definitely should do one eventually because paying the money gives you that extra motivation, but also extra bit of anxiety because you're like, I paid all this money, I need to finish this fucking thing. Like I get that aspect, but also it's really enjoyable just like setting a challenge with your friends on a date, and you don't have to pay, don't have to rock up, don't have to rely on anyone. You're just like, okay, we'll meet here at this time. I'm going to run 100K,
and no one needs to know about it. You can just do
no one needs to know, and it's pretty rewarding.
It's so much.
Yeah,
so good. Yeah. I really like doing that as well. I did that on my birthday last year, and I did it on the first day of the year this year. Like last year on my birthday, I ran. I woke up at 5 or something and started running. Did 30K, and back then that was before I had done a marathon.
Yeah,
and it was such a big accomplishment for me. And then the first day of the year, me and my friend, we did a marathon. We just said like, this is how we're gonna start the year. Just to go hard.
Yeah.
Without anything, just go.
Yeah.
And,
awesome.
And it's good for the mind to have that.
It's crazy when you start to run. Like the first year we did this charity run. Our friends and colleagues run. It's called Run Walk Talk. It goes from Duranbah, the lighthouse at Point Danger, to the lighthouse at Byron Bay. It's about 68K, 70K. And it's like called Run Walk Talk, so it's not like a race. You just a bunch of blokes get through. It's for men's mental health. That's why they run it.
Living?
Nah, it's not living. It's kind of like that, but it's just it's called Run Walk Talk. That's like the name of it.
Oh, that's still cool.
Yeah, but the first year we decided we're going to do it with our friends. We were like, yeah, we'll do a bit of training and we'll just rock up and do it. Like, it's all good. And we ran a half marathon. That was like the longest we ever ran before it, and that was like rough. Like that was like we thought we'd done something. Marathon, like we just fucking we're world beaters. We ran a half marathon. That was like 2 weeks before it, and it was 68K run. And I'm not kidding you. The day before it, we were like at Cougar's house, getting all ready, getting all the gears, and like making sure we're all sorted. And I was honestly, I was saying to everyone, I'm like, I know it's going to be a bit hard, but I don't think it's going to be that hard. I was just like so confident. I'm like, it's not like it's just running for a bit longer. Like, and I was cooked, mate, after it. Like, it just got me good, hey. Like, I did not expect my legs to feel the way they felt.
Yeah.
And then after that, because it was so hard, I got hooked. And then we started doing heaps more running. And like the next year, I think the next year we did the 100. That was like the next year. Because it's 68K, so we ran from the Seaway 30K to make up for the 100. So, and we met them at the start. So we started at midnight at the Seaway and we ran to the start line at 5 a.m. And then when they started, we ran the rest of the way to Byron.
Oh, you made your own 100?
Yeah, we just made our own 100 up because it was fucking Cougar's idea. But yeah, I didn't want to do it, but I was like, fuck, everyone's doing it. Okay, I better do it. And then like, that's when we ramped it up and ran the run, and like we're doing half marathons daily, like to train for it. And on the actual day of the 100, it didn't feel that bad. Like I got through it pretty easy because I had been doing so much work, and I'm like, oh, okay, you just got to do a bit more work, and you can do anything.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, I just had a podcast with an ultramarathon runner, and we both like found out the same thing. It's the run itself, the race, or that's the fun part. And it's only going to be fun if you have put in the effort to make it fun.
Yeah. The training's the hard bit. On the day, you can kind of enjoy it if you've done the training. And I did.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't actually worry about how fast you're running and what you're doing. Just look up and just like take it all in. And honestly, the week after I entered a 30k trail run race because I'm like, I haven't done enough. Like the week after the 100k, because I was like, I just felt like I hadn't achieved, like I hadn't put my body through what I thought I was going to go through. So I'm like, I better do something else.
Because it was easy feeling up. Because you had put in all the effort.
I mean, I was sore after a bit. I wasn't injured. I wasn't like sore to the point where I couldn't walk. Like I was fine. It took me like 2 or 3 days and I was good.
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to enter this other race and really cook myself. And I did. I hurt myself. But yeah.
Did you? Like, did you fuck up something? Or
No. Like I just like, when I was running, you know, like I gave it to myself more than the 100. Because the 100, the whole time, you're trying to pull back and like, oh, I've got to make it. That's like that's the goal, is to finish.
Yeah.
You know? So with the goal to finish, you finish and you're like, oh, I could have probably gone further. You know? It's different how your mindset changes.
With the 30, you know you can make it. So
it was hilly. It was like in the trails and that. But yeah, I was just, it's 30k. I was like, oh, shit this in. It's funny as that.
Isn't it funny how your mind changes so quickly?
Yeah.
Like if I say let's run 50k now, it's less than the 100 you've done. So it's like the chance you say yes is so much bigger.
Yeah, you've got a new limit once you run that far. You've got a new benchmark or a reference point. You've got a new reference point. And you're, oh yeah, okay, I can do that. Right, yeah, sweet. Let's go.
But then when we start talking about 100 milers, but that's 160k, it's like
I nearly signed off for one the other year, and I was like, that's a fucking big arc. I don't know if I can do that yet. I might do one eventually.
I mean, how much time would that take? Like over a day or something? Or you have to...
Yeah, look, I don't know. Especially in the trails, it would take way longer. But I think they have it normally. They aim for roughly around 24 hours. Like it takes a full day. I think that's like, you know, the average pack is taking about that long. Obviously, the good guys are going quicker, and you know the stragglers are a fair bit slower. But I think they're like multi-day events, so they have a cutoff of like 3 days on some of them because like some people like them and they don't run. You know,
that's like I met this girl at the Spartan race I did. It was the first sort of race, and she's done this sort of dead man's race or something. It's no distance limit. It's just a 48-hour time limit, and that's you're running for that period of time. It's like, let's see how far you can get.
How far did she get?
Mind-altering far, but I don't know exactly how far.
Remember, yeah.
But she said she started hallucinating after a while. I cannot even imagine that.
Really?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Like, the 100k I did, I started like seeing some things at the nighttime because it took us, because we didn't train that much for it, so we struggled.
Yeah.
But it took us 24 and a half hours to finish that one.
That was a trail.
Yeah, it was pretty good with 4k elevation.
Yeah. So were you walking up the hills?
Walking up the hills, running down, running flat.
Yeah.
And
that's a good way to do it.
I think that's to keep the heart rate in the zone.
Yeah. Yeah, if you can keep your heart rate down and not try to blow yourself out, you can make it any distance.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But once you realise that, it's pretty powerful too.
For any cardio thing, like cycling, anything for long periods of time, you just get your heart rate in the zone.
Yeah, if you're going into something like that with the goal of just finishing, not like winning a race or whatever, you can normally finish it. Yeah.
Isn't that awesome though? Because I saw it in your face, like the new pain after 30k when you first did the 65, 65. You said,
yeah.
Like there's nothing like after you only done like 20K, the new pain you feel at 30K or the
Oh,
new
yeah,
pain
68. Yeah.
so like
Yeah. I was
it's funny.
because I was going in it with a bit of an ego. I was like, yeah, because I've always been fit. I've always been, athletic.
Yeah.
I was honestly, I thought I was just gonna shit it in. I was like, yeah, I was making plans for the next day and shit.
Making mistakes.
Yeah. And then I couldn't walk, man. I was struggling for like a week. But that's right. It was a good lesson.
It's funny,
That's why we do these things.
Oh, that's the best. Like the first time I felt that pain. I think that's the difference for people that haven't ran for longer periods before.
Mm.
It's just if you don't know what to expect, the pain. Because when you know the pain, it's just pain. It's just that's gonna be part of running.
Yeah.
And then it's like go through it because your body is capable of it. It's just a new feeling.
Yeah. I think also too those things obviously they're great lessons because like if you can take them as a lesson and then build on that, it's going to be way better in the long run. Some people will do that and get that pain and never try to do anything like that again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just the one time go.
Yeah, it's like the willingness to fail and be like, oh, and admit it. And be like, oh yeah, no, I definitely went about that the wrong way.
Yeah.
Once you admit that, then that's when you get all the benefits from that lesson.
Yeah, you mean like if you don't even like finish the race or something, you're like fuck, I have to learn something from this.
Anything like that. If you set a goal and you don't achieve it, or you achieve it, it's like in the wrong way or the way that you didn't visualize you achieving it. If you just admit that you fucked up and what you did wrong, that's when you start benefiting long term, and then the next time you come back, you'll be way better because you'll acknowledge that what you did wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you can never fail if you don't give up.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
if you like do something, it's like learn from it, do it again.
Yeah.
I think that's the only reason for me if I would do a long race and I stop. Like I cannot fail if I just do another big race after that.
Yeah.
If I just make it like start training to do something else. But if you stop it, then that's the real moment you feel like not getting back up. So
Yeah. It's not even in racing. That's in everything.
it's with everything. Yeah.
Like, and come back full circle. That's everyone always knows that. Like you get told that a lot, and you're like, yeah, of course. But jiu-jitsu just taught that to me tenfold. You know what I mean? And until you start putting that into practice, you don't understand it. You can listen to it and read all the books you want, but until you start doing it, you won't understand what's happening. That's why I'm doing this. Like this is, yeah. I should not succeed in this sort of shit. Like I'm an Australian bogan, mate. I don't. I'm a dumbass.
Yeah.
But if you got the willingness to fail, who cares?
You're just taking action.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. And the funny thing is, like, a year ago, 2 years ago, I started reading so many like books, self-help books, all of these things. And every time I finished one, I just started the next one.
Mm.
And now sometimes too, I'm just looking like, oh, what book am I gonna listen to next? Well, what I realized is that I already know all the stuff I need to. Like if I just take action. Now there's nothing else sort of really to get out of the books if you don't take any new action.
Yeah.
Because you probably find as well, yeah, now there's so much to learn because you're doing something new. You're doing podcasting. So you can start learning more about podcasting, how to get better.
Yeah.
But if you never take the action to do it, like,
yeah,
why do you need more information? Why do you need more knowledge about other things if you don't take action on the things you already know?
Yeah, that's like the main thing, is just taking action.
Yeah. So there's always more action to be taken before learning more knowledge.
Yeah. I mean, especially today as well, it can be very overwhelming, the amount of information that you can have to take in, and you will never ever learn as much as you can. Like you never learn as much as you want to, or you never get to where you want to be, because there's always someone doing something better, and there's always very high achievers in the world, and they're super accessible, and you can see them all the time. And if you're always looking at that, you're always second guessing yourself. It's very analysis by paralysis. It's like very evident in this day and age. No one wants to do anything because whatever they want to do, they don't want to be bad at it. You have to be willing to be bad at it and fail at things before you can move forward and be good at it. Like that's part of the process.
That's the fun part. So that's the fucking.
Yeah, fucking 100%.
Just start it.
Yeah. Like no one fucking cares. if you don't do it, no one cares, and if you do it, no one cares. Like everyone's too worried about their own shit. So just start doing whatever you want to do.
It's so funny. Like I always thought as well that everyone thinks like, oh, what is he doing? What is he doing?
No one cares.
And then you start doing shit, and it's like they don't even.
Yeah, no one cares about what you're doing. Yeah, everyone's. I mean, we're all the same, but everyone's thinking about what they're doing. No one's thinking about what you're doing. So just start doing something.
Right. Yeah. And enjoy that part.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, I really like that.
Well, maybe we should end on that, eh?
Sounds
Thanks
good.
heaps, Tommy. I appreciate that, mate.
Oh, that was awesome.
Yeah. Sweet, mate.
Thank you, Jackson.
Oh, YouTube channel?
Oh, yeah. If you want to check out my interviews, my channel's Tom Van Der Sandt. It's just with SANDT on the end.
Fuck yeah.
So yeah, check it out.
Let's go.